Hey, it's Clay on the trail. Good morning. Almost noon. We are in Yellowstone National Park at the Heart Lake trailhead. We are headed in for an 8-day, I think. Wow, yeah, 8-day. We are going to go across Heart Lake to the bottom of Yellowstone Lake at the southeast arm, head up over Two Oceans Pass, down to the Thorofare, the ranger station, and then up the east side of Yellowstone Lake. So this morning was spent with getting permits, parking a car at the other end, getting to this end, and we're just heading out here. So I'm with my son Dustin, his friend Josh, Dan and Tina, and my wife Stephanie. And we are, I think, having a nine and something mile day today. I will show you on the map when we get to camp. Somewhere I've never been. I've been to some of this area on the lake, but none of the campsites that I've ever stayed at before. So hopefully a good trip. Trying out some new stuff. We'll see, as always, see how stuff works. So I know this end of the trail gets really used. Everybody goes to Heart Lake. A lot of people climb. I think it's Mount Sheridan. That's just right there, but properly maintained trail. A little sandy. But there hasn't, this is the most uphill we've run into the whole trip so far, is this right here. All right, we got us past the people. Lots of boiling water here. You can definitely smell it. The breeze feels nice. And the thought of camp is just down at the bottom of the hill a little bit is even better. So there is Heart Lake. We will be camping on the left shore. You can see where it looks like an island or a peninsula comes out. We'll be right at the corner of that, the left-hand edge of that lake, and that peninsula is our camp. And some more thermal stuff coming up here. It's been a pretty mellow trip. We did our section, the one section I recorded, like we were kind of going uphill. That's been the steepest, worst part of the trail, and that was pretty nothing. So we'll see what exciting, cool things we find here. Here's some of the thermal features. We're finally to the hot spots. Josh has the same backpack as that guy, and he says, "I love your backpack." And the guy turned around and looked at his and says, "Well, yours sucks." So made us laugh for a minute. And man, talk about people. They are everywhere down here. And definitely not a place to find solitude, but it's been a pretty mellow hike so far. Downhill got a little gnarly. We decided we're happy we're not going up the hill. that we're coming down, but we're having to hike 70 miles to bypass it. So I don't know if that's an exchange or not.
That's hot.
You can feel the heat right away from it. Well, we made it to the ranger station. We have another 1.7-ish, something like that, to get to our camp, which we ought to be able to pull easy in an hour. I'm not sure what time it is, but we're looking forward to getting to the lake. We've all run close to out of water, and all the water we've passed so far has been 100+ degrees. So we'll do a quick tour. It doesn't look like anybody's here, but we'll do a quick tour and see what they got here. Okay, so we've got a tack room, place to tie your horse up. Looks like meadow. They're a little swampy, but places to feed. Looks like an outhouse. All your radio stuff. And we'll go to the other side and look at the cabin. Stop.
Yeah. Did you get out what you needed?
No, the skeeters are, yeah, they're a little rough up here, but they're not worse than where we live. So we're looking forward to getting to the lake, because I'd assume there's going to be a little breeze coming across it, and it ought to feel pretty good. So, not too much exciting here. Oh, there's a thermometer, though. That's kind of exciting.
I didn't even look at that.
It is 87, 88-ish.
Wow.
It's proper warm here.
They're not freezing water at the moment.
No, there no worries about freezing water tonight.
60, 70.
They're kind of shaded up there and by the cabin, but these trees are blocking the breeze. I can feel it from here. This is spectacular. Way better than just shade. So here, of course, is our end of the first point, our 7.4 miles. 7.4 miles. We are going towards the Trail Creek Trail, but we're only going 1.7 miles. So our campsite is just 1.7 miles down the beach. And this, of course, is Heart Lake with Mount Sheridan, which is a pretty awesome summit, everybody says. I myself have not done it. Not the cleanest water I've ever seen, but that's what we expect from a big lake like this. Skeeters are definitely in control here. Well, they don't have a proper boathouse here. They've got them, looks like chained up though. Which is a good idea, I reckon. Yeah, they're all locked up together. Anyhow, I'm going to have to put some more bug dope on. This is pretty wild right here. Make some water so we can get to camp. So this for sure is a really cool stretch of the trail. I mean, there's a nice breeze coming off the water. It's cool. Keeping the bugs off. I kind of figured this would be what it's like, but anybody that's ever lived on a beach or been to a beach and ran on the sand, that's what this trail's like. There's a fine line between where the wind drives the water up on the sand, and it's pretty compact, and where it's not. Whew. That's worse. So somewhere right up here, we're going to duck off the beach and head back up into the trees, but our campsite is just right up here on the shore. Whew. I'm just trying to watch the trees here on the left. There's going to be an orange marker where we bail off. I don't know if it's better up here, maybe. Not really. It's not really any better up here than it is down there. I'm trying to find that sweet spot. Maybe up here. Maybe a little better. Hey, there it is. The sign to go this way. Back in the saddle again. Oh yeah. So we made it to AJ8J1, which is our campsite for the night. This is one of those campsites, though, that is not just a 100-foot walk into camp. We are probably 1/10 or 2/10 of a mile from the lake shore, and that is where our campsite is. So even though we made it to the sign, we got a ways to go. So I'm going to spare you a 10-minute walk of just this. When we get to camp, I will share the glory. Okie dokie. I'll give you the final mileage here, but this be 8J1. There's the hang pole. Fire area. I'm guessing the bathroom's up the hill. I think this is one of the few campsites we have a bathroom at. That looks like tent spots right there. And we'll drop stuff. Oh, toilet's right there. We'll drop stuff and go find places to set up. Well, we've been to camp for several hours, enough that we've had dinner and kind of got cloudy and windy for a while. The bugs are all gone away. We have set our tents up kind of down here in a hole. We are all hoping it doesn't rain. Yes, above our tents and further out there's a bathroom. I haven't made it out there to see it, but this is the only campsite I think we have this whole trip that has a bathroom. And then the fire area up here, the bear hang. There's a tent spot right here, but we're not anywhere near 100 yards from food stuff. But we're just enjoying the evening. This is not the first campsite we've had this, but this is where we're eating, and the bear pole and stuff is. That is bear poop. It's old, not anything we're worried about, but there are 2 pelicans sitting out there on the water. Kind of a really cool campsite. I mean, we met a guy while we were picking our permit up. He used to be a ranger here. He was a ranger for I think 11 years, he said. It's been a while, back when things were different. He spent a lot of time in this area, and he said this campsite is his favorite in the park. It is a cool campsite, but I actually, one we stayed at while we were canoeing down in the south, it would be the southeast arm, was my favorite. But this one's a really good one anyway. And the wind has died down and the waves have died down. Man, there were some big waves going on here for a little bit. It looks like we have a little creek coming out here, but there is a huge beaver lodge right up in here, and if you want to get Giardia, that is the way to do it. Well, there it is right there. I don't know how active it is, because they would have finished the dam if it was horribly active, but doesn't look like the water's moving that much, but boy, you can see it coming out. If I were solo camping, or just me and my wife, I would set my tent right up here on the beach right here. This is a beautiful spot. Anyway, there's kind of an overview of our thing. I will sit down with the map and show you our first day's trail. Mileage was 9.3 miles. And I had guessed 9.1, so not too bad. All right, guys, good morning. I was going to do this last night, and I just did not. But it's a beautiful morning. We slept really good until about 6 o'clock, all the squirrels decided that we were invading their territory, and they were throwing stuff at Josh's tent. They were screaming and barking and chirping and doing all sorts of stuff, but a good night's rest anyway. Just for those people that are trying to follow along here, we started at the Heart Lake trailhead. It was 7.4 miles to the Heart Lake Patrol Cabin, and then it's 1.7 miles to this point here. We had to go a little, oh, no, right here, 8J1 is where we camped here at Heart Lake. So about the distance we hiked into camp, we have left to complete that 1.7 plus coming back out. Today's trip is going to be to the end of Heart Lake, crossing the river, coming up the Trail Creek Trail, over here to the south arm of Yellowstone Lake, and we were able to change our campsite. We originally had 5L2, but they say it's a really poor camp and hard to find. We did 7G2, which is close to the lake, and there should be Grouse Creek is there also. So there will be so far.